Hello everyone, I hope you're all well, and this is episode 1 of where I talk about my personal masterpieces in rather lengthy detail, so my apologies if this does get a bit boring. For episode 1 we might as well start off with a bang by talking about the scariest album and the best breakcore album ever made, created in 2001, Vsnares' Doll Doll Doll. This album is the first installment of the Child Killer series. Now that's the unofficial title, so bear with me. But the other two entries are Find Candice and Horse and Go. Doll 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 has this otherworldly malevolence and this sheer frightening, on-edge unpredictability because of its explosive dynamics. It is incredible. Like the fantastic tone setter Pygmalion, where it captures your attention instantly with this big bass hit and metal scraping sound. These hazy ethereal pads brew up a mighty storm alongside these tense, rushing synth sounds which are coincidentally in the Boomfunk MC song Freestyler. As the track progresses, this off-kilter piano is introduced and the drums get more skeletal and jagged. It's fantastic. Pygmalion flows effortlessly into the equally eerie Remy, which has this really tinny snare leading the way of these alien-like bloops and zaps. Then in the middle of this track, this warped, grimy, regurgitating bass line makes its way through like that's fucking brilliant. Also love how near the end of Remy, the track belittles you and how unpredictable the structure is. It's almost petulant in ways. Next track is Ira in the Ocean, which is rather eccentric, but yet still incredible with its very grandiose orchestral notes and quite cult-like choir vocals. It's rather interesting. Also love the plodding bass line and the Apache break sliced upon this, and the free jazz bit in the middle, which doesn't really fit in the beat, but yet brings this off-kilter and disorienting atmosphere to it. Next up is Dollmaker, which possibly has the best intro build-up out of this whole album. This album is so phenomenal that it made me change t-shirts midway through the video, but this song opens up with this nice sandy drum break, this wistful piano melody, and this striking string counter melody which carries all this brilliant tension. The strings get more intense and this rising synth pad builds this unnerving atmosphere, and these kicks are introduced which get more profound and loud, and it all accumulates into this utterly euphoric yet terrifying noise wall which kind of shocks me every time I listen to it. It is that impactful. This track also hits the Child Killer concept nail right on the head by using the John Benet Ramsey case voicemail in the last couple minutes. It's very uncomfortable, but that's the whole fucking concept of the album, isn't it? You know what I mean? Speaking of said dark subject, the next track is Befriended Child Killer, which I don't think anyone would, to be fair. For the first 2.5 minutes of this track, it feels like you're waiting in purgatory with these ambivalent feeling strings and swelling synth hits. The bridge ensues and it's full of cumbersome drum hits and this narrator going, "Spirit is poison, spirit creature not wearing the shape of a man," and it just unleashes this fucking crusty break and the best bass line I've ever heard in a fucking song. It's relentless. Fun little fact, but the main vocals on this track aren't actually from Mr. Snares himself. It's from a Fallout 2 character called Sulik. Here's an example.
"No way we be friends with Child Killer. Spirit creature not wearing the shape of a man."
Pretty sick, right? But as the track progresses, the bass gets more distorted and hazy and this ragga vocal is introduced. It's pretty mental, and it smoothly transitions into a quite lovely and peaceful track called Pressure Torture. I think I used the wrong descriptive words there, so yeah, whoops. This has to be my favourite song of Doll 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 because it accurately fits the title, Pressure Torture. It feels like your head's being clamped between a vice. It's going to explode like a fucking watermelon after listening to this. Just a merciless ensemble of assaulting kicks, screaming snares, even some gunshots in the back. Eventually there's some atonal horns in the mix which sound like they mock you in many ways, and it opens up to this middle section where it sounds like there's someone screaming and crying. There's even actual kidnapping sampled in the middle of this, which is fucking hardcore. It's a suffocating 7.5 minutes, and it's the longest 7 minutes you'll ever sit through. It is incredible. Also, yeah, plus points for being the last song played at the Aphex Twin Malusi Club set in Rome 2002. It's pretty sick. Next track on this album is Macerate and Petrify, or maybe the Spotify users would like to call it Macerate and Etrify. Admittedly, and in my opinion, this is the weakest track off the album, but it's still great, especially with that disfigured Sarah McLachlan vocal sample and acoustic drums. I also love how patient the build-up is too. It's so damn creepy. Truly a brain rattler. Finally, the last song, the cherry on top of this terrifying and ghastly album, All the Children Are Dead. This song has to be my favourite outro to an album ever. Like, the concept is morbid, it's dark. I like what Vsnares did by slicing up the actual Coast to Coast AM radio interview and making it sound even more like deprived and deplorable. As the drums are introduced, this fat kick proceeds to be the backbone of the track. Even when it's engulfed in many claustrophobic percussive motifs, it's still there lingering, watching as the madness ensues. And by around the 6-minute mark, this repulsive sounding break swallows up the whole mix, and words cannot describe the amount of aggression that's behind it.
It's the GOAT! The GOAT!
So there you go, Dol 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 is an explosive bipolar masterpiece which is ubiquitously frightening and flawless, and I have no more words for it. And you know what? It's been a week in this video. Big up CapCut, because TikTok is an awful editing program thing. So yeah, I have no more words. Thank you for watching. Cheers, and yeah.